What's up, folks? How's it going? I have for you today a video for you. I have notes so that I can fucking keep track of what I'm trying to do here. And because I am on top of things, I'm going to talk about the hot topic right now today, not 2 weeks ago, today, which is the remake of Snow White. Now, I'm not joking. I think this is a perfect situation to kind of show, I don't know, some of the little things about our culture, about our society that rub me the wrong way that are not normally articulated. They're certainly not articulated by the left, and in this particular case, they're being perpetrated by the right. The culture of, and I like to coin phrases, I haven't heard this before, but I'm going to make it up right now, alternative virtue signaling. Everyone knows the concept of virtue signaling, the idea that a person espouses political beliefs or whatever about something just to get attention, to get approval, to say the right thing. And usually when this term is used, it's in the context of accusing somebody who is liberal of virtue signaling, which is what, that would be generally considered, you may disagree, but that's generally considered a liberal thing to do. So what is alternative virtue signaling? Well, this is a turn of phrase. This is like, what do they call it? Reverse racism? That's like one of those things. So alternative virtue signaling is going to be when people on the right who think that they are not a part of society find themselves doing the exact same stuff as the people on the left in virtue signaling for different reasons, but in the same. See, the thing about virtue signaling that's really problematic is if they really believed it, that wouldn't be a problem. But people are just saying whatever they think they're supposed to say at the time. Whether they agree with it or not, they're not even considering. They're just trying to figure out, is that the right thing to say? That's the issue with virtue signaling. So the people on the right do the same thing, and I think the discussion surrounding this film is a perfect example of it. So everyone's familiar with, the backlash over. I mean, I think the most crazy thing about this film is the fact that they spent $300 million to make it. I think it's a crime against humanity that any movie short of a complete masterpiece of epic proportions should cost anything approaching that. I think it's insane. I think it exposes the hypocrisy of a Hollywood that, tends to preach about it's, how much better the people that make up Hollywood are than the rest of people in the world, how moral they are, and yet $300 million is a lot of fucking money for a shitty movie. You could make a lot of shitty movies for $300 million and employ more people. You could have more shitty movies. The movies are so bad and they're getting such bad product for so much money, it leads me to believe that they've either gone completely insane or that the whole thing is some kind of money laundering deal and less about actually making something that's marketable. But that's neither here nor there. So, everyone's irritated with the political issues surrounding this movie, and this has been surrounding Disney as a whole for some years now. There was Peter Dinklage didn't want to let any other midgets work. That's kind of weird, so they got rid of the midgets, put in computer animated midgets. Did they pay, how many millions of dollars did they pay to make computer animated midgets when there are perfectly good little people that want to work? They want to work. These people want to work. Why can't they work? I don't know. But whatever. So they don't do that. This girl, Rachel Zegler, said some things. She's apparently she's not very well thought out. Apparently she has some opinions that might not be fully formed. She's also a 23-year-old girl okay, who's an actress, like a Glee Club chick, why would anybody be surprised or think that she would be anything other than like a lefty type person? Like, who cares? Why would you even be mad about that? So I don't even care about that. The thing I find interesting about this and where the virtue signaling comes in, or the alternative virtue signaling, is so one of the talking points on this film, and I've seen it repeated in comment section after comment section on all the videos about this topic, is people have said it's so dumb that Rachel Zegler is playing Snow White, not because she's not white, which she doesn't have to be. I actually don't care about that at all. But they're not saying that. They're saying she should not be Snow White because Gal Gadot, who plays the Queen, is more attractive than Rachel Zegler. And that doesn't make any sense in the story. And I will tell you right there that okay, that's just wrong. And it shows that the people that are attacking the movie, they're attacking the creators of the movie for not living up to the spirit of the original movie. And in my opinion, they don't even understand what the whole dynamic of the rivalry between the Queen and Snow White was in the first place. It wasn't even so much about how Snow White was more attractive, though that could be a part of it. It was more about the age and innocence issue. Okay, that I see it more as like it's a generational thing. It's an authority versus the youth. It's mothers versus daughters sometimes. It's a generational divide thing, maybe specifically with women. I see it more that way. The Queen was never implied to be unattractive. She takes the form of an old woman at one point, but she's not unattractive. I mean, it's a cartoon, but she's not supposed to be ugly. So I think that misses the whole point, which is really fucking stupid. Why it annoys me to see people just, and it gets all these likes, like. I don't know who's doing all the liking. So that's pretty fucking dumb. But they go even further than that. They don't just say that Gal Gadot is more attractive than Rachel Zegler, which could be your opinion. But they keep saying that Rachel Zegler, that this girl is not attractive. Now, this is where another issue here, cognitive dissonance, comes in. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more into this. These people are all, now I can't speak for women because I'm not one. I don't know what they would consider to be another attractive woman. I'm not going to speak for gay men because I'm not one. And you can have your opinion on this, but I don't know what your opinion would be on women. As a straight male, I will tell you that this girl, Rachel Zegler, is perfectly fine. Like, she's very attractive. Like, if you say that she's not attractive, you're full of shit. You're lying. People know you're lying. You are virtue signaling. Now, the people who are virtue signaling with you are not gonna like go, and please be clear, I am not simping for Rachel Zegler, okay? I'm not that insane yet. I don't care about either. I don't think either of them particularly are knockouts. They're fine. I might even prefer Rachel Zegler because I think she's a little bit more petite. I don't know. Gal Gadot, I looked at both of them at their pictures here before I made this video to make a full judgment. And I looked at the younger pictures of Gal Gadot at about the same age. They're both like brunettes. I mean, they're fine. They're fine. I mean, they're fine. They're perfect. They're attractive women. You would be very happy to have either one of these women be your fucking girlfriend, or even just to be like hanging out with a girl that looked like that. Any straight male would. The fact that they're lying, okay, because for a stupid reason, first of all, because they don't like her political position. If you're not gonna find any women attractive because you disagree with their politics, bro, you're gonna have a really fucking hard time with that, okay? You better start thinking about stuff like that. But this, I believe, is a cognitive dissonance thing. And this happens all the time in our society, where we try to pretend that either a person is more attractive or is less attractive than they really are physically, based on how their perceived, what kind of clout they carry socially, what their position is, okay? One example I always bring up is that this is a country where Michelle Obama was considered one of the most beautiful people in the country. So in a country where that was on the list, then this girl is fucking got to be number one. If Hillary, Jesus Christ, if Michelle Obama could be, if she was number 98, this chick would have to be number one, Rachel Zegler. I mean, that's crazy. But that's the kind of society that we're living in. And people went along with it. Now, people that might not like Obama, they might have noticed that that's crazy, right? I see this a lot on body cam footage. It's a problem I have. I watch the body cam footage. And that's really what I just watched a fucking video just before I did this. It made me decide to make this. The video was titled X model has some problem, whatever. This chick was fucking drunk on drugs, being a cunt. And any video where a female is put out there as being a model or whatever, if they're unknown or something like that, people always will disagree or whatever. But especially in these police videos, and I think a lot of the people that watch them probably skew to the right. Okay, so this could be considered a form of alternative virtue signaling. Okay. This girl was, I'll post a fucking video link in the thing. If you disagree with me, whatever, you can disagree with me. I'm not saying to go date these women, okay? we're talking about, are they physically attractive? This girl is very pretty, okay? And they're in there like, one guy's like, if this girl's an ex-model, I'm an ex-billionaire. And it's like, bro, who are these chicks you got? Show me the women that you're with. You just sound dumb. I post, because like I said, I got a problem. I watch all the fucking police videos, bro. And there was one where this chick she went, if it wasn't for the title, and that was basically what my comment was, if it wasn't for the title of the video, I would not have known that this girl was going to go completely sideways with it. Because for the first 8 minutes, she was totally cool as a cucumber, mostly, she was chill, cooperative, and she just flipped like this out of nowhere. So much so that, like, the cop, he had like a Twilight Zone moment where he was like, what the fuck is happening to me? And I made a comment, something to the effect of, I wouldn't have expected if it weren't for the title. That was a crazy change, she's a cute girl. It's a shame that she's completely insane. And, it got some likes or whatever. And somebody posted, again, this is the virtue signaling. Somebody posted in response, meh, she's a 3 at best. And I'm like, but on what rank? There could be the chick. I mean, this is America, okay? If you're first of all, if you're not fat, you automatically are like a 5 or up. That's like the rule. Unless you're a burn victim. Let's just deal with fucking reality here, okay? We're not talking about TV. We're not talking about any kind of shit. We're talking about real life, okay? You live here with me amongst the people, okay? If the chick's not fat, she gets a minimum 5, okay? As long as she's not like severely deformed. But if she's deformed in an interesting way, that could bump her up. Like this chick, Rachel Zegler, some people said that she looks like Lord Farquaad. Sometimes her face looks a little different. But I find that kind of interesting. I don't mind a little bit of character in a face, like in a girl's face. Like I like these old like models and shit and stuff. Like I love Twiggy. Okay. I've shown Twiggy to fucking guys that are younger than me. They don't like Twiggy. People don't like Twiggy. I like Twiggy. Is Twiggy the fucking most beautiful woman that ever existed? I don't know. But I like Twiggy. I'm a reasonable guy. This girl is perfectly attractive. So, but they, the girl in this body cam video, they say, oh, this chick is not attractive. The only people they will ever say are attractive in a body cam video is a cop. If there's a lady cop who's in any way close to hot, they will get all the simping for them. This is reverse virtue signaling. Same kind of thing. I believe I'm going to dovetail this into kind of, there's like a racist angle on this where people will either, sometimes they'll pretend somebody is like, I think that's a little bit happening here, and I don't want to be that, believe me, I'm the, it says politically incorrect on my wrists. I'm the last guy to get overly sensitive about this kind of thing. But frankly, part of the reason why they're acting like this girl is not attractive is because she's clearly not completely white. But that's ludicrous. As Patrice O'Neal, the great comedian Patrice O'Neal said, and I agree completely, the only type of racist I will not tolerate is a pussy racist. Don't be a pussy racist. This is a form of alternative virtue signaling. This creates a cognitive dissonance. You know, I see this all the time, and I think it goes both ways. Sometimes they'll try to, like, okay, Michelle Obama. I don't know if that was so much a race thing as a political thing. So I won't call that a race thing. That could be a political thing. And this happens all the time. It happens with politicians. Any politician who is even remotely attractive in any way goes, like, through the roof. If you were around for Sarah Palin, who's fine. Sarah Palin is an attractive woman. But, I mean, people were freaking out. They're making fucking spoof porn of it, and people were, I mean, it was all the rage. And it's like, calm the fuck down, okay? Like, this isn't, you know, a lot of housewives in upper middle class neighborhoods look like her. There's a lot of women like that. There's a lot of attractive women, but it's not uncommon. Oh, before I lose sight of the original topic of the movie, another thing that they missed the point, they're criticizing, in my opinion, incorrectly, erroneously, the selection of Rachel Zegler because she's not more attractive than Gal Gadot. Because, in my opinion, they misunderstand the point. But, ironically, and again, I'm never going to watch this movie, but I watched a review. Apparently, Rachel Zegler is a singer and can sing. So she sang her songs. Gal Gadot cannot sing. And it's a fucking musical. So, the thing that makes the least sense in this hiring scheme here is hiring a woman who can't sing. You can't find another 40-something brunette that can sing? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand that. There's so many people. Aren't there people looking for work in Hollywood that could sing and do the job? That should be what bothers people. Again, they should bother people if they spent $300 million on the thing. That should bother people. They don't even complain about that. Sort of related but unrelated. What have they done to Ariana Grande? Is this Ozempic? Why would it be Ozempic? She doesn't need Ozempic. Ariana Grande was, I don't care who you are, this is a beautiful girl. She's a very, very attractive woman. Girl, she's fucking like 30 now. A very attractive woman. She looks fucking crazy right now. She has lost she looks ill. That's very unfortunate. I don't know what's going on with this Ozempic. Why society is not freaking out about Ozempic, I have no idea. If that doesn't sound like the beginning of something like I Am Legend, I don't know what the fuck is. We have a drug that cures fatness. There'll be no side effect. And people are injecting themselves with this shit. As a person who struggles constantly with fatness, I've found that the only solution, and I believe it's the ultimate solution, is a calorie-restrictive diet consisting of as little carbohydrates as you can get away with taking in, and especially no sugar. That's the solution. Some people are more disciplined than me. Sometimes I fall off. I had a bad quarter. I put some weight back on and back up my diet. Okay. Week and a half, we're down 5 pounds. Restricting calories, no sugar, no carbohydrates. You have no hunger. To me, because I'm a fucking addict, food is like another drug. I just will just be shoveling this shit into me. So I just have to no fucking sugar. And people will look at me like that's crazy. Like I could never not eat any sugar or carbs or very little carbs. but they're willing to go to a doctor and have him inject them with drugs. Clearly you're gonna die. And apparently, like, people, apparently you can tell that they have Ozempic in the facial features and things. I don't know about all that. There are a lot of, especially older B-list celebrities that are mysteriously very thin. You know, just shows how fucking shitty our society is. When we have the access to the internet and the fact, I mean, that's where I learned about what carbohydrates were and sugar and what it was. And, you know, that's a free solution to obesity. But we would prefer a solution that, you know, contributes to the medical, pharmaceutical complex, the whole thing. I just cannot believe that people, I think the Ozempic is just as insane as going and getting bariatric surgery. I believe anybody, unless there's some medical reason, which I'm sure there are been some, but it is very minimal. It's like, shouldn't that be your rock bottom? That you're not willing to. There's not a fucking chance in hell, I believe, that any person that got any type of elective bariatric surgery ever tried a calorie restrictive, zero sugar, incredibly low carbohydrate diet. There's just no fucking way, because then they would have lost weight. They won't tell people do that because that's free. That doesn't require a lifetime of. It requires personal maintenance. You might fall back, but that same thing is going to happen because people will criticize, well, you're going to go off your diet. People go off their diets, especially, you know, depending on how restrictive it is, it can be very difficult. But I mean, look at people who are actually, like, people, I'm just talking about not being medically obese. That's like my goal is to not be fat. Right now I'm like 25 pounds overweight. But what I'm telling you is just about how to not be fat. But when you look at people who are like in good shape, like athletes or like bodybuilders, and not even bodybuilders, but just like if you see like a person with muscular definition who is in shape and shit, with very few exceptions, these people are incredibly disciplined when it comes to what they're eating and stuff like that. And, you know, ironically, a lot of people would call some of those people, you know, there's people are jocks and shit, but they're able to be disciplined enough to control what they're eating. And people are willing to go fucking inject drugs into their body to lose weight, and they're not worried about that. That's how desperate they are, but they're not desperate enough to not eat sugar. That just baffles me. But see, that's, you know, that's a societal cognitive dissonance. I don't know if that's really a societal. It's a societal something. It's very hard not to consume carbohydrates and sugar when they are the majority of things that are available for your purchasing pleasure at, you know, convenience locations and things of that nature. God, what am I talking about? Societal cognitive dissonance. So it sounds small, what I'm talking about, this shit about pretending that a person is or isn't attractive for these vague kind of political, ideological reasons. But all of these things add up. This is just one aspect of an ocean is made of mini drops. From an ocean came of mini drops. So it all kind of comes together. You know, there's going to be a little bit of it. You know, you're going to bullshit. It's just like in your personal life, in your individual life. You have cognitive dissonance. If you have too much of it, it fucks with, as the kids say, it fucks with your mental. Okay? If you hold too many contradictory positions, you say one thing and you do another, and you do all this shit too much, it fucks you up. Now, there's always going to be a little bit of that in order to exist in polite society. Do you like your mother-in-law? No. Are you going to tell people that you don't like her, like your wife? Probably not, if you're smart. If you don't want problems. Some people want problems, though, and that's up to you. But this happens on a societal level, too. As a society, we bullshit ourselves. Like, we do that, you know, every year at the holidays. Everybody suddenly we do Christmas in a country where nobody really believes in God. Everyone's fucking. Have you seen this place? And we're saying, Silent Night, Holy Night, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing, right? But most people don't call that out because they just understand, okay, it might be, it's crazy, but it's worth it to have a couple of days of, something a little different, right? But you just can't do this forever. It's just too much. I just find it very strange. I don't know why it bothers me so much. I find one of the joys of being alive is appreciating beauty in the world. You see a beautiful building or a flower or a tree or a sunset. There are beautiful people. There are beautiful women. I think people of all sexes and sexual persuasions can appreciate beautiful women. And it irks me to see people. My bullshit wall is too thick for me to allow myself to lie to myself about something like that. And it worries me that people would so flippantly just lie. And they're all going along with the lie because they think it's making them look better to who? Well, the other people that are lying. And it's a self-feeding cycle in which, again, the whole thing is silly because everybody involved in this is an asshole. The people that made the movie are assholes for spending the money. The people that were in the movie, the girl Rachel Zegler and them were all bad for having bad press for the movie. The people that are criticizing the movie are bad for being wrong in the reasons that they're criticizing it and being hypocritical. Everybody is a fucking asshole, piece of shit. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just think that as a person that is certainly not of the political left in this country, I guess as a person who's by default a part of the political right, I would really like to see people not take easy L's by falling into these fucking traps. This happened early on in the YouTube with the atheist people. I seen them just falling into these traps of claiming to be free thinkers. Why are so many people claiming to be right wing right now? Why do they claim that they're the free speech people, they're the free thinker people, these are the libertarians who were forced to take it to this level because they won't listen to us anymore. But you're not free thinking. Now you're group thinking, like a group think retard, which would be fine as long as you know that, as long as you're not being a hypocrite. I am an enemy of hypocrisy. Yeah, and other things. So I don't know. That's something to chew on, right? Tell me I'm wrong. Or tell me I'm right. I'll talk to you folks later.